Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Joni Young. If you're new here, thanks for joining. Today I'm working on another piece from my miniature painting series, and here are a few of them that I have as tutorials and demonstrations, so I'll leave a link below, and I have a whole playlist of mini painting tutorials for you guys. And by all means, you can paint any of these scenes on a larger canvas as well. So I'm going to go over a few of the colors we're using, and we're working on a 5x5 canvas today. I've got my Luminous Rose, Luminous Yellow by Holbein. I've also got some Ultramarine or Cobalt Blue. I've got some white, some burnt sienna, some black, and you can use any other variations of these colors. I may be adding a few other colors along the way, and make sure you look for the full list down below in the description of this video. I'm going to start with a small flat brush. I'm going to take my pink and I'm going to start pulling it across the sky and then blending it in with a little bit of white. I'm now going to take a little bit of my blue and go across the top, slightly over top of the pink. Now I'm taking a bit of my luminous yellow and some white, and I'm going to work on the bottom portion of the painting and then blend it up so it's slightly going into that pink that we have, so each color blends into the next. Now just with the colors that I blended up over on the top, all those colors are on my paintbrush right now, and I'm just going to create a soft mountain range, just a few little hills like that. And I'm going to take some sap green and first I'm going to come in with a little bit of white and just soften the sky up a little bit. I'm just going to pull and blend that white around into the yellow and the pink, very softly and gently. Add another layer of blue. And then come down over the mountain range with a little bit more of that blue. And we'll start working on our shadows and contrast more in the middle of this painting before we add our tree and the foreground. So taking my sap green now, I'm going to pull on an angle, and this will be the dark forest. And that just helps set those mountains and that sky way off into the distance. And I'm just going to tap and stipple in for a little bit of texture, giving it more of a forest feel. Okay, with a clean brush, I'm going back to my yellow, and I'm just going to start pulling and blending it along in the foreground and underneath that sap green, along with some of my neon pink. And then I'll tap in again for some highlights on the trees that may have a little bit of this neon pink and luminous yellow for some treetops and leaves way off in the distance that are changing color from the fall. And then I'll tap in a little bit of leaves here in the foreground. Just very, very impressionistic style, very easy. And I'm still just using this little flat brush. Now taking a bit of my cobalt blue here and just adding a little bit of it here on the far right, and then very delicate little pulls for a bit of a shadow. I'm now going to go over to my mop brush, and you can use any mop brush you want. probably want to use one that's on the smallish side when working on a small canvas like this. Taking Luminous Yellow and my neon pink, I'm going to start tapping in for some of the leaves on this tree. So I'll also take some yellow ochre. I'll take a few different colors during this video and just layer all sorts of different colors on this tree. Primarily keeping it more warm though, on the warmth side with that pink and luminous yellow. And taking yellow ochre with sap green, I'm making this a really nice earthy green color. And tapping in for a little bit of foliage and highlights that are going to be behind the tree. Now switching over to a liner brush, I'm going to come in with some water, some blue and black, whatever dark colors that you want to make for the tree trunk and all the branches. So I want to make this tree feel like it's slightly on a slant. So it's not going to be perfectly straight, and we're going to have all sorts of different shapes for branches, making this tree look really, really old and giving it a lot of character. So remember, when you want to make really small, delicate looking branches, the ones that are kind of on the outside or the ends of the bigger branches, you just want to use less paint and more water. Okay, so after adding quite a few little branches on our tree, and I'm going to be adding even more, I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of lemon yellow and more of my yellow ochre. And I'm just going to start tapping in hints of that bright lemon yellow. And this is going to really build up our saturation, especially layering it over those other colors. And then I'm just going to take a bit of my luminous yellow with my yellow ochre and start tapping some of that into the tree as well. And I'm going to take some of my neon pink and start tapping that into. And I'm adding a little bit of yellow ochre with my neon pink, and I'm going to tap in a few more leaves here. And then with a clean brush, I'm going to take some of my luminous yellow. Oh, sorry, lemon yellow, not luminous yellow. And luminous yellow would actually work really well too. But I'm just going to put that right underneath the leaves of the tree and right around the brightest part of the sun. So you want to make sure that you keep a little white circle in the center there for your sun. And then I'm going to add a few more little delicate branches here. So I'm really enjoying working on these mini paintings lately, and they are really fun to paint, but the main reason why I'm working on mini canvases right now is because I actually injured my arm, and I think I might have mentioned this in another video, but it's been pretty sore. I really shouldn't be using it at all right now, but I can't stay away from my studio. I just love painting, so I figure if I'm just creating small little paint strokes and brush strokes and not big ones, and working my arm too much on those bigger canvases, then it'll probably be a lot easier on my arm. And it has been. It's been feeling a little bit better, but I've been taking a lot more breaks and, like I said, just focusing on smaller projects that involve a lot less physical work, because when you're working on a large canvas, you really are working a lot. You know, you're using your arms a lot, and it can be a bit of a workout. And I've been painting non-stop for the past few months, so I'm not surprised that my arm is as sore as it has been. But these paintings I've been doing, you guys, you can definitely paint these on a larger canvas. They would be a lot easier to paint on a larger canvas, because when you're trying to fit all this detail in a small canvas, you need to be extra careful. So you will have a lot of fun and enjoy yourselves a lot creating these on 11 by 14, or 12 by 12 is a good size, 16 by 16. You name it, doesn't matter what size canvas. Even it doesn't have to be a square, it could be a rectangle. So now I've got some neon red and more neon pink and some luminous rose, and I'm going to start adding more color now, intensifying the saturation. My favorite part, I'm going to create a little filter over the mountainside, just under the sun, and you want to make sure that your paint underneath is dry before beginning this, otherwise it's not going to work. It's just going to all turn a muddy color that you won't be happy with. So I just want to soften up a little bit right above the base of the tree in this area here. So I'm taking a bit of yellow and white, and I'm just going to tap in very lightly. But then I feel like it took away too much from that warm glow, that filter that we added. So I'm going to gently take some of this off in a little bit and redo that area. I just want to get that perfect balance. I want it to be soft but intense at the same time. So I'm able to do this because my paint is still wet. It would be harder to do if your paint had dried. So just scumble it off and wipe the excess off on a towel, and then go right back in with my luminous rose, pink, and a bit of neon red here and there. I'm taking extra luminous rose right now. This is more of the purpley neon pink, and I'm putting it, just dabbing it down here and brushing on the bottom of the right side, and I did on the top of the right side too. I just think it looks really pretty. It's like a purpley pink vignette instead of having, you know, like a black vignette. Think outside of the box and think of using different colors to gradiate your paintings with and really draw you in. Now just for a little tiny bit of a cool shadow, just to play up on color and complementary colors, a little bit of blue violet. I just took my cobalt blue with white, and I didn't like how much I had there. I think it took away from it, so I'm just balancing that out, leaving a hint of it there still, but just going over part of it with a little bit of pink. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit more of my luminous yellow. And I'm going to add some more little highlights, just little dots and dabs, taking a bit of white with it, and I'm going to work on these highlights here in the foreground a little bit more before I call this painting all done. And I thought I was almost done, but I couldn't resist. I just had to put some sun rays in here. So I'm going to add a few little sun rays, and I've got loads of videos and tutorials. Probably 90% of my paintings have sun rays in them. It's my thing. I just love them. I think they add such a mood and magic to a painting. So very, very easy to do. You can all do this, you guys. Just a little flat brush, a bit of water, white. You can tint your white with yellow, pink, even a little bit of blue towards the shadow part of your painting. So I'll demonstrate here as I do that, okay? And you want to make your sun rays a little bit wider if they're coming into the foreground like this. And remember to keep your sun bright in the center and just pull and flick. You can do this with a liner brush too, though I would use a short bristled liner brush. Otherwise, a long liner brush can kind of curve on you, and it's not the best one. I wouldn't recommend that. I think a small flat brush is, or a flat brush in general, just choose the one according to the size of painting you're working on. But this is the easiest. It'll get you those nice straight edges, and you won't have curves or lopsided sun rays. So you can see I'm just coming in here after with a little bit of my pink, orange, red, all those warm colors. And then a little bit of blue and white down on the bottom right off of that sun ray. Okay, so as I finish up this painting, I'm just going to add the final touches and details here. I want to thank you guys a lot for watching and supporting my channel and helping me grow to 60,000 subscribers. I'm so excited, and I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. And I'll see you next time really soon in another video. Bye guys, happy painting.